So these are the rules for writing numbers and units of measurement in professional writing or business writing per se, specifically for test preparation courses and so on. We need to have these specific rules for writing. Is a proper rule to be written? If you have any question, more than welcome to write it down in the chat box. There are 10 rules for writing numbers. What I do for this round of session, I train you on how to do that. Then I put you on a set of practice. If time allows, you can practice. If not, you can complete the answers and I will take up the answers next session. So rule number 1 is we use numbers in sentences. Numbers beginning of a sentence, they must be spelled out. We never write any number in numerical, like at the beginning of a sentence. We always avoid having to do so by changing in order of the words in a sentence so that the number is not in the initial position. For example, I never use the numerical like 6 children because it is at the beginning of a sentence. Any number at the beginning of any sentence must be spelled. This is rule number 1. Hyphenate cardinal numbers, like from 21 to 99, if it is necessary to express them in words, even if it is at the beginning of a sentence, I put hyphenated words are considered as adjectives. Numbers are adjectives in English writing. Because it is at the beginning of a sentence, then again, I must spell them out. For example, 29 of the patients recovered within a week. Rule number 2, we spell out numbers 1 through 9, and then 10 and above, we use numerals. Once again, in the middle of a sentence. I'm not talking about the beginning of a sentence, because at the beginning of a sentence, we always spell them out. In the middle of a sentence, we have numbers below 10, 1 to 9, and we have numbers above 10, 10 plus. We spell the numbers below 10. For example, we say the operation lasted 5 hours, but we write down in numerals numbers above 10. The operation lasted 22 hours. Any number plus 10 plus, like higher than 10, I write down in numerals. I say the first operation was successful, but the 13th was not. We use digits for numbers that are grouped for comparison, numbers that are larger than 10, for example. If it is the range, I say in 5 of 22 responses, patients claim they experience depression, because it's a range. And if it is the range, I would say the 3rd and 5th operations are unsuccessful. I use numerals to express rounded large numbers. For example, of the 3 million patients who took the drug, 125 expired. I use commas when we have larger than 1,000, for example. I say 2,461 in reading, 2,461. If it is in 10,000, I would say 21,000, 278. If it is million and above, every 1,000, I separate them with comma. So it can be expressed as 1.4 million as rounding off as well, but make sure that you have commas and punctuation in the proper steps. Rule number 4, we use numerals to write numbers immediately before a unit of measurement. My units of measurements are as times, dates, points, and scale. Even if they are lower than 10, because it appears before the units of measurement, I must write down in numerals. For example, I say 6 centimeters, because centimeter is a unit of measurement, I use number. 6 days, I use numbers. 7 years. Any units of measurement. So remember that days, months, and years are not abbreviated. I never use the acronym. Days are DAYS as a spelling. Months and years are the same. The acronyms for some specific units of measurements are given in here below. Meter is M as short, cubic centimeter is C, kilogram is kg, liter is capital L, capitalized L, millimeter is ml, and degree centigrade is that. We use digits for math functions. For example, 3%, a ratio of 16.1. Rule number 6, we spell out common fractions. However, fractions are generally written very much the same as math, as decimals, or sometimes ratios, particularly for incidence or the disease. I would say 1/5 of the patients were treated with aspirin, or aspirin was used to treat 20% of the patients, or the incidence of the breast cancer in women is 1.9. Rule number 7, we use figures to indicate age. For example, the patient is 18 months old, or the 18-month-old. If you see the hyphen, this is definitely an adjective, and you look for a noun after that. Adjectives will take hyphens. That's why numbers can be considered as adjectives before the noun, like 20-9, 29 patients maybe, or 18 months old patient. Men in their 70s are particularly susceptible to the disease, and so on. Rule number 8, it said we need to insert 0 before a decimal point when the value is less than 1. For example, 0.37 is lower than 1. I must insert 0. The rules of writing numbers in English are considered absolutely essential in professional writing. Make sure that you follow all these rules. You can also review these rules if you like. Rule number 9, when specifying in range of numbers, we give the numbers in full when they're below 100. Otherwise, we give at least 2 digits. For example, the range 2 to 3, 10 to 12, 96 to 99, 103 to 4, 923 to 29, which is considered as 923 to 929 in short. If the numbers refer to years, we need to use as many numbers as needed to make the time clear. For example, 1765 to 1821. Clearly indicate the numbers from to. Decades specifically are written in numerals without the apostrophe. I don't need to use the apostrophe when I'm addressing the decades. For example, 1970s. Here's the source to rely on. For now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you to a good practice, and I want all of you to have a good practice on that one. I'll give you 10 minutes as the last step for today to practice on this exercise. What you need to do, you need to write down the correct answer for each sentence. You're using either, here's the examples. You need to start working individually right now. You write the correct answer for each sentence. You use either words to spell out the numbers, 31 for example, or if it is at the beginning of a sentence, remember, whenever you write down the numbers, we always spell them out at the beginning of a sentence. For example, number 1, it should be written in as spelling it correctly, or numerals where appropriate. I give you 10 minutes to complete this assignment.
Wait, Terry, what